Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the WPPM podcast, Wind Power Project Management Master's Program at Campus Scotland, Uppsala University. We are delighted to have three guests from Hitachi Energy: Madeleine Stolpe, Hennessy, and Marianne Gudmundsson. Madeleine is a global product specialist. Jan is project manager, and Marianne Gudmundsson is competency manager. So let's start with Marianne. Can you give us a bit more about your background and what are you up to these days?
Sure. So my name is Marianne Gudmundsson.
Can you just turn the micro? Yeah.
Like this?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so my name is Marianne Gudmundsson and I've been with Hitachi Energy for 12 years. My present role is as competency manager for one of the business units that we have, but also for all Hitachi Energy Global. What I'm doing is that I'm working with certifications of project managers, but we have extended it to certifications of all project execution functions, actually. So within a project team, we might have 10 different functions. So we are now certifying all those roles.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, thank you. Jan?
So, my name is Ian Hennessy. I've been with the company for 25 years now. For the last 16, 17 years in project management. I'm currently what we call a PMO manager. So a manager of the project management organization for power quality in the Global Center of Competence here in Sweden. And my team and I execute projects around the world in power quality related to, I suppose, wind energy, and improvements in grid quality. So that's it. I've been many different roles over 25 years, but I've latched into this project management in the last 15, 16 years. I also support Marianne in terms of assessing project managers. So I'm on the assessor panel where we bring the certification levels up. That's my main focus and what I do today.
Thank you so much. And Madeleine?
Yeah, so my name is Madeleine and my background is from Uppsala University as well. So I studied energy systems engineering for 5 years on campus Uppsala. And one of those years I spent in Spain as well as an abroad year in Bilbao.
Okay.
And I graduated in 2021. And just after the summer, I joined Hitachi Energy. So about 1.5 years ago, I started as a Power Plus trainee, which is our global trainee program at the company. And I did 6 months in Ludvika, working with transformers, closer to the manufacturing process, I would say. After that, I did 6 months in Madrid, supporting a project manager in a substation project. And then I finished the trainee program with 6 months in Västerås, working with sustainability management. And I finished the trainee program in March this year. So about 1.5 months ago, I started my permanent position at the company. So from then, I'm working as a global product specialist for HVDC systems. And what that means is that we are supporting the projects with more of the long-term strategies. So we're having roadmaps, let's say, for all the different projects and kind of making sure that everything coordinates with each other. And one of my main topics as a product specialist is to lead the sustainability work forward for the HVDC projects. Okay. So, that is where I am right now.
Thank you so much. Let's talk about Hitachi Energy. Who wants to take the stage?
I can just tell you some brief information about it. So we're a global company, about 40,000 employees worldwide, and we are located in basically every continent of the world, I would say, except from Antarctica. But yeah, the rest of the world, we have our footprint in. And we're working with, so we have 4 different main business units, let's say. So one is grid automation, working with automation and digital solutions. Then we have high voltage products, working more about manufacturing the actual equipment needed for the system. And then we have power transformers, manufacturing the transformers and its components. And then we have grid integration, where all 3 of us are working. And we're working more with systems. So integrating, let's say, wind power to the grid, or power quality projects, as Ian were talking about, or building substations. So that is where all of us are working right now.
Interesting. Thank you. So let me just ask my first question. How does Hitachi Energy contribute to the development of renewable energy?
I think that's one I can answer. One of the key drivers in Hitachi's mission is effectively doing more with less environmental impact. So when you're looking at the grid development, there's 2 aspects. One, you make more efficient use of the power that you produce. Say, for example, if you say wind energy, okay, we know that the generation is not pure as it would be, say, with a nuclear reactor or with a diesel or gas generator, because there's inconsistencies in wind power. That's where we come in with our power quality solutions, where we can inject reactive power and we can control the active power in the grid. So we're effectively, our STATCOMs that have been developed over the last 50 years can help rectify voltage and help improve the output and improve the efficiency of the solution, say, for the likes of wind energy. The other thing we do with our products is actually look towards greener solutions, which also, it's also part of renewables, part of environmental control. Like, for example, now we have switchgear. Traditionally, a lot of gas-insulated switchgear had used sulfur hexafluoride, has used SF6, which is one of these gases that is damaging to the environment. It's on the Kyoto Protocol as things that need to be removed. And our new Econnect switchgear does not use, it uses kind of safe gases. So from that point of view, when we look at environmental impact and we look at how we can support renewables, it's a kind of a 2-strand approach from the grid integration perspective, that we use less environmentally damaging products and also support and increase the efficiency of what is available from renewable generation and get that into the grid in a cleaner and more efficient way.
Okay, thank you. That was interesting. What are some of the challenges or obstacles faced when connecting a wind farm to the grid, and how does Hitachi address them?
That comes back to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, it's this. When we look at it, the rules for grid connections have become a lot stricter over the years, which is a good thing. We can see the requirements have been a lot stricter in terms of the voltage regulation, in terms of the delivery, and this is where Hitachi are one of the global leaders when it comes to STATCOMs, when it comes to SVCs, this power quality equipment of regulating the grid voltage, and effectively connecting the wind farms and keeping them connected. So we have several examples of offshore wind in the UK, in the North Sea, and some new interesting projects coming up offshore in the Baltic Sea. Places like this, where we have these onshore substations where we have power quality and we have STATCOMs attached to them to keep your grid reliability and effectively stay within the legal parameters for grid connections. So STATCOMs themselves are a solution. They're much more refined than the older. If I think of wind farms 20 years ago, I think of capacitor banks. It's a solution, but it's very coarse in terms of regulating the reactive power, and STATCOMs are operating within 10, 15 milliseconds of fluctuation in the grid. Very fast, very fast, very much more accurate, and much finer degree of control. So it helps in the renewable sector, in the wind sector, that you have a very controlled and, how would you say, I'm just trying to think of the statistics. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but effectively, once you have wind and you're producing, you can stay online like 90% of the time, whereas the statistics used to be much lower. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I was involved in some wind farm projects in Ireland 15, 20 years ago, and it was a very coarse solution, whereas now it's very well refined and I suppose you can see in Denmark, you can see in Ireland, the amount of wind energy in comparison to the overall grid requirement is now huge. I think 2020, Ireland ran completely on wind energy for several days, without any fossil fuel generation, something that would not have been possible maybe 20 years ago. So, it's true, and power quality is one of the things, the products that we're using, the equipment we're using is one of the things that makes that now a reality.
Yeah. And to add on that, so from the wind farm projects, from Hitachi's side, you can really, you can work with a lot of different angles of it, let's say. So you can project manage, manufacturing of a transformer, let's say, for a floating platform for the offshore wind farms, or the HVDC projects that are, projecting the links between the offshore wind to the onshore with direct current technology, or as Ian is saying, the power quality part of it, or the high voltage products with the SF6-free solutions or like floating solutions. So, from Hitachi's side, you can really see the wind farm projects from many different angles, which is really interesting. And coming back to the renewable topic, as you were talking about before, like independently on which department at Hitachi you're actually working at, you are contributing to the renewable, like the increase of renewable energy. Okay. So yeah, I think that is really interesting as well.
We usually say that we do something good for the world every day we go to work.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. My next question is that can you explain the process by which Hitachi certifies its project managers?
Sure. So what we do is that if you have a role of a project manager, we have within PM Council, which is globally covers globally Hitachi Energy PM roles, you are to sign up for a certification program. And that has been mandatory since a year and a half. Earlier, it used to be very unregulated, I would say, and anybody that was interested in project management could sign up. But now it's much more strict in a good way, because it means also that for the learners that do the certification, the outcome is much more beneficial for them, I would say, after they have the certificate. And the process looks like, I should start to say that approximately it's around 1,300 project managers today in the program, either certified or enrolled. So it's quite many people. And the process is that you register first, you get approved from your line manager and HR representative, and then you get assessed from a leadership perspective. So either we have a concept of the leadership. So you are getting assessed from either a senior consultant within leadership or with our internal talent partners, depending on what level you are at. So we have associate project managers, senior project managers, and project directors. So we have 4 levels. Then you do the core part, so to say, of the certification is within the Project Management Institute, which is an official organization globally, where you study their trainings, functional learnings, and so forth, and then you get an professional's external certificate with PMI. And then as last step, as Ian mentioned, we have the functional competency assessment. So first you have the leadership assessment, then you do all the professional learnings, and then you have the functional assessment, which means, as an example, Ian as an assessor can come in and have an interview of a few hours with the learner, and you are discussing more about the experience of the learner, and if they are capable of the role. Most people pass, but it could also be that you don't pass. So you need to come into like a development plan for maybe 6 months, and then you get the certificate. And then after all this is completed, you get the Hitachi Energy Project Management certification, where the PMI external certificate is included. So this is the process for certification, which has actually been the transformation, I will say, that we have done when it comes to certification is that now, let's say we have an audit, as an example. It could be internal audit or external audit. Nowadays, when we win a large project, it can be a $1 million project, the auditors always nowadays ask if the project managers are certified. So that's a big difference, I would say, from before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. My next question will be about the ways that new graduates and students can think about to coming to Hitachi.
Yeah, I can take this. So myself, as I said, I graduated 1.5 years ago, or 2 years ago soon. So there are some different ways into the company as newly graduates. So the way I took, as I mentioned, is through the trainee program, which is one way. So the trainee program is one of our global talent programs, and we have it in Sweden, in Switzerland, Poland, India, Brazil, the US, and Canada. I think I got all the countries now. Yeah, so this is where we have the trainee programs going. And they are divided into 3 different assignments, so 6 months on each place. And you are free to choose yourself what kind of assignment you want to do. So managers are happy to get trainees. And you basically just connect with a manager and then agree on a suitable assignment. So it could be, in any function, in any location. So for the Swedish trainee program, you start in Sweden, but then you get the opportunity to go abroad for 6 months. And what I like with the trainee program is that you can really shape it how you want it yourself. So if you want like a broad overview of the company, you can try like different departments, different functions. Or if you prefer to be an expert within a specific field, you can try that. As project management students, you can also try different angles of project management at different departments as well. So, I would say that's a great opportunity. And then after the trainee program, you start your permanent position. But then other ways into the company is through thesis works. Every year we have many thesis workers, usually in Sweden, usually in springtime. But I mean, if the students prefer to do it in fall, that's open as well. I mean, that's something we can discuss. We have internships as well. And apart from that, I mean, we have open positions, many open positions right now. I mean, we're expanding and growing in very high speed right now. The renewable energy is increasing a lot in the world, and without transmission, you can't take use of it. So the Hitachi solutions are very important to this, and the project managers are very important to this. Yeah, I would say there are many ways in, and now is a great time also to enter, because you will have so many opportunities. I mean, now, but also years ahead as well. So, yeah.
Okay. So do you have any words with students of the program or people who are thinking about actually selecting this program as their masters?
I would say that what Hitachi Energy stands for is, that is just great to know that every day when you go to work, that you contribute to a better world. And if, as Madeleine said, that we are growing a lot with a lot of, especially wind farms, there is a lot of opportunities to have different kinds of work within our company, I would say. So, if you want to be in a company which is in the forefront of the technology and everything, like small little Ludvika, where I come from, is world leading in the HVDC technology. And a lot of people don't know that. Even though you live and come from Ludvika, you don't know that it's a world-leading company. So if this is what you would like to do for a few years, this is the place to be, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think similarly, I think people that have chosen this path in, as a university, as a master's program, I think it's the future. I think people have already seen what's coming. I think what adds on is companies like Hitachi Energy, like us, give you the opportunity to move on with the world, not only just in terms of the environmental impact, but also in terms of what you can do personally. Like as you said, you come from Ludvika. I come from a small village in Ireland. I've worked with the company for 25 years. I've lived in different countries. I've lived in the Middle East. I've seen what's happened in that part of the world with renewable energy, with solar, with wind. It's amazing. And I got to raise my family there. I've decided to come back to Europe, and Sweden was the obvious choice. So I think the direction people are going with this program is fantastic. It's the future. I think following on to companies like Hitachi, where you have the whole world in front of you, that you can travel, you can learn, gain experiences from different people, different parts of the world, and understand the similarities and differences in each of those places. It's great. It's a fantastic opportunity.
Thank you. And Madeleine?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Marianne and Ian. Just this feeling of being so global. So as Ian says, the opportunities to, even live abroad. For me, I also got the opportunity to try to live in Madrid for 6 months. After 6 months in the companies, I think that says a lot about the company, like which opportunities it gives you. And also a bit that Marianne was talking about, even though you are located in Sweden, you really see the world getting connected. With HVDC technology, connecting not only cities and countries, but in some cases even continents. That is just amazing to see. You kind of can see like the world, like the earth in front of you, and see how everything gets connected. I think that's just, amazing.
Okay, thank you. And my last question, What are the hot trends and topics, especially for thesis collaboration, in your eyes? Marianne?
I think I need to hand over that one to Madeleine, actually.
Madeleine. Okay, Madeleine.
Yeah.
Maybe Ian can fill out some as well,
okay.
but I can, yeah.
Yeah, I think hot trends and topics. Interesting. It's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Mm.
I would say one topic that is very big now and very, very relevant is sustainability. I mean, not only that we are connecting renewable electricity, but how we are actually connecting the offshore platform, let's say, because at the end, it's huge blocks of concrete put in the ocean. And even though it gives you a lot of renewable electricity, like the topic around how it actually affects the environment, the nature, the CO2 footprints, these topics are becoming very, very relevant. So that is one topic, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a very good starting point for me. If I think of the trends and the topics, it's also what happens on the other side, at the other end, that we need to be mindful of. So using renewables to generate electricity is fantastic. We're no longer, we're moving away from fossil fuels. The other thing that we need to be mindful of is what happens, or what are we using it for? So the amount of minerals that are being mined for mobile phones, for this type of thing, the batteries in electric cars. Okay, it's great. We're no longer generating, or the focus is certainly to move away from fossil fuel generation. I think the next topic, or the next trend, what's coming next, is what we actually do with it. In the next, I think we see that by 2050 we'll double the electricity usage on the planet. But what we're doing with that, in terms of battery usage, in terms of say the use of cobalt, there's no way to ethically mine cobalt. And I think people have got it right when it comes to the generation side of things, but need to think a little bit more about what we're using the electricity for when we generate it. So this is, I think for me, this is the way the trend is going. This will be the next topic that comes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's today's topic, but it's certainly tomorrow's.
Yeah. And what is interesting to that as well is that, I mean, there are so many different aspects, as Ian was saying, and you also get to follow like the politics, for example. So it's a lot dependent on who is the leader in the country, what are the regulations coming from the EU, for example. So even though we are, we're working with technology, you are really seeing the trends, not only the market trends for the technology, but also the political trends as well, which I think is really interesting.
Thank you. Thank you for this interesting topic. And thank you for your time and patience.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.